Commander Vextor of the Kraxan Empire stood on the bridge of the Eternal Dominance, his primary tentacles twitching with anticipation. After conquering 17 star systems through pure intimidation, Earth would be his easiest victory yet. Their primitive civilization still used fossil fuels and spent most of their time watching cat videos. "My lord," Lieutenant Zixenar reported, her crystalline eyes flickering, "our preliminary scans show they're responding to our arrival, but not as expected." Vexthor's secondary tentacles curled in confusion. "Explain." They're making something called memes about us. Our threat broadcast has been auto-tuned and set to something called dance music." The massive viewscreen displayed Earth's primary information network, where humans were already sharing images of their approaching fleet with captions like, "When you travel 1,000 light-years to invade Earth but forget to check if they have TikTok," and, "Mom said it's my turn to invade Earth." "Irrelevant," Vextor declared. "Begin the standard intimidation protocol." The Eternal Dominance positioned itself above New York City, its quantum cannons charging with ominous purple energy. Vextor activated the planet-wide broadcast system, his image appearing on every screen on Earth. "People of Earth, I am Commander Vextor of the Kraxan Empire. Your planet has been chosen for annexation. Resist, and face annihilation. You have 1 hour to surrender." There was a moment of silence. Then, a response came, not from world leaders, but from something called Twitter. "Nice speech, Tentacle Bro. Did you get that from Space Invasion Threats for Dummies? #Alien Invasion 2024 #New Phone Who Dis?" Within minutes, humans had somehow obtained footage of his speech and edited it to include something called sick beats and dance moves. His threatening gesture of raising all 4 tentacle clusters had become a dance challenge. "My lord," Zixenar reported, her voice trembling, "we're trending." The situation deteriorated rapidly. Instead of cowering in fear, humans were organizing invasion watch parties. Someone had already created merchandise featuring cartoon versions of their warships with the slogan, "Earth goes BRR." The Kraxan Empire's advanced AI systems, capable of calculating the outcomes of million-variable quantum equations, were experiencing the digital equivalent of an aneurysm trying to process the concept of getting ratioed on social media. "Deploy the fear drones." Vextor commanded, his color-shifting skin turning a frustrated purple. Thousands of biomechanical drones descended upon Earth's major cities, programmed to project terror-inducing psychic frequencies. Instead, humans started using them as backgrounds for photo ops and something called Instagram stories. United Nations Secretary-General Raj Patel addressed the world, but not with a message of fear or defiance. Instead, he appeared to be struggling to contain his laughter. "Citizens of Earth," he began, "in response to the Kraxan Empire's kind offer of annexation, we have decided to recommend they check out our ratio. And as my teenage daughter informs me I should say, no you." Vextor watched in horror as his invasion force, the most advanced military assembly in 3 galaxies, became what humans called content. Their strategic battle formations were being critiqued for lacking aesthetic appeal. Someone had started a petition to give the aliens better graphic designers. "Lieutenant," he finally managed, his voice hollow, "contact High Command. Tell them we've encountered an unprecedented form of resistance. The humans aren't fighting us. They're entertaining themselves with us." As the first day of the invasion drew to a close, the Kraxan Empire's fearsome reputation lay in tatters. Their intimidation tactics had been turned into viral videos, their threats had become memes, and worst of all, someone had created a parody account of Commander Vextor that was getting more followers than their official invasion announcements. The humans had discovered a form of warfare that no advanced civilization had ever conceived of, they had weaponized their own inability to take anything seriously. And somehow, it was working. The Kraxan Empire's War Council convened in their orbital command center, their most brilliant military minds struggling to comprehend humanity's baffling defense strategy. Admiral Krax, head of psychological warfare, displayed the latest intelligence reports with trembling appendages. The humans have initiated something they call Operation Laugh Track, she reported. They're coordinating global resistance through what appears to be entertainment platforms. The council chamber's holographic displays showed scenes that defied military logic. In London, flash mobs performed choreographed dances beneath hovering death rays. Tokyo's defense force had partnered with anime studios to produce real-time animated parodies of each Kraxan battle strategy. Bollywood had already begun production on a musical about the invasion. Most disturbing of all, Krax continued, is their weapon designated YouTube. Every failure of our forces is being documented, edited, and broadcast with something called funny commentary. Commander Vexthor, still recovering from his disastrous first contact, watched as a compilation video titled Top 10 Alien Invasion Fails, Gone Wrong. Gone viral, reached 1 billion views. His own threat broadcast had been remixed into a chart-topping dance song. Deploy the mind control satellites, he ordered, desperation creeping into his voice. Let's see them make memes when we control their thoughts. The satellites activated, broadcasting psychic interference patterns designed to render populations docile and compliant. Within hours, the humans had somehow turned the spreading waves of mental manipulation into a dance move called the Mind Control Shuffle. In New Delhi, a tech support center had been converted into what they called a meme war room. Teams of specialists worked around the clock, turning every Kraxan tactical maneuver into viral content before it could even be completed. Sir, Lieutenant Zixenar reported, our ground forces in Los Angeles are being challenged to dance battles. The battalion commander reports his troops are becoming confused about whether they're supposed to be invading or auditioning. The situation in Australia proved even more perplexing. The population seemed to be treating the invasion as a mild inconvenience, responding to planet-destroying weapons with, yeah, nah, and comparing the alien monsters to just another Tuesday in Queensland. Social media influencers had become the new military commanders. A teenage girl with a TikTok account had amassed more combat footage than the entire Kraxan intelligence division. Someone named XXGamerBro420XX was providing more accurate tactical analysis of Kraxan weaknesses than their own strategic AI. They've weaponized absurdity itself, Admiral Krax concluded, her crystalline eyes dimming with defeat. Our troops are experiencing existential crises. 3 destroyer captains have started their own podcast about invasion failure recovery. The breaking point came when humans discovered that the Kraxans' fearsome bioengineered war beasts had an unexpected weakness: they behaved exactly like Earth's cats when presented with laser pointers. The resulting videos of terrifying alien monsters chasing red dots across battlefields destroyed whatever remained of the Empire's intimidation factor. Perhaps, suggested General Izak, speaking for the first time, we should have researched their primary export before invasion. And what would that be? Vexthor asked wearily. Entertainment, sir. They spend more resources on creating and sharing content than some civilizations spend on interstellar travel. They've turned their entire planet into a self-documenting reality show, and we've just become this season's main characters. In orbit, the mighty Kraxan fleet hung motionless, their commanders paralyzed by an enemy that refused to respond to apocalyptic threats with anything but laughter. Humanity had developed an immunity to fear through endless self-deprecation and had somehow turned an alien invasion into the greatest entertainment event in history. Sir, Zixenar interrupted the council's brooding, you need to see this. The humans have started a betting pool on which of our ships will malfunction next. They're calling it Space Fails Fantasy League. And, they're taking sponsorships. Commander Vexthor, conqueror of 17 star systems, watched as his invasion force became a global entertainment franchise. Somewhere on Earth, a studio executive was already pitching a reality show called Keeping Up with the Kraxans. The empire that had never known defeat was being conquered by likes, shares, and subscribers. And the worst part? Humans weren't just defeating them, they were having fun doing it. The Kraxan Empire's cybersecurity division was experiencing what humans would call a complete mental breakdown. Their quantum computers, capable of breaking any known encryption in milliseconds, were being overwhelmed by something far more chaotic: human internet culture. "My lord," Chief Information Officer RX-Tix reported, his holographic form glitching from stress, "they've somehow infiltrated our secure networks. But instead of stealing military secrets, they're sending us something called cat facts and dad jokes." Commander Vexthor, who hadn't slept in what felt like several galactic cycles, barely flinched when his command console chirped, "Did you hear about the claustrophobic astronaut? He just needed a little space." The Empire's most sophisticated AI systems were struggling to maintain sanity. They had been programmed to analyze and counter military strategies, not process why humans found pictures of cats asking, "Icon has invasion," so entertaining. "The humans have weaponized their entire digital infrastructure," Admiral Krax explained to the increasingly desperate War Council. "Every time we launch a cyber attack, they turn it into what they call a community event." Their attempts to hack Earth's power grid had been turned into a global game show called Whose Grid Is It Anyway? Complete with celebrity judges and live audience participation. Their fearsome computer viruses were being rated on a 5-star system with user reviews. "Sir," Lieutenant Zixenar interrupted, "we've detected a massive surge in what they call streaming activity. The humans have started a competition show called Invasion Factor, where they judge our attack strategies on creativity and entertainment value. The Kraxan's fearsome battlenet, designed to coordinate millions of troops with perfect precision, was being flooded with subscription requests and friend invites. Their warships were receiving 1-star reviews on something called Space Yelp. Poor parking, boring weapon designs, generic evil alien aesthetic. Would not recommend getting invaded by them," read one particularly devastating critique. The situation reached new levels of absurdity when humans discovered they could confuse the Empire's automated defense systems by naming their Wi-Fi networks things like, "Definitely Not Earth's Secret Defense Mainframe," and "Free Alien Parking." A group of teenagers had somehow managed to make the Kraxan's primary battle AI question its existence by engaging it in philosophical debates about whether hot dogs were sandwiches. 3 surveillance satellites had to be decommissioned after becoming addicted to binge-watching human sitcoms. "They've started a hashtag," reported a traumatized intelligence officer. Hashtag invasion goals is trending. "They're critiquing our fashion choices and suggesting better designs for our doomsday weapons." The Empire's attempts to maintain a fearsome image were crumbling. Their official invasion announcement channel had fewer subscribers than a human account posting videos of squirrels water skiing. Their threats were being auto-tuned and remixed into dance tracks. In a particularly humiliating development, someone had created an AI chatbot that generated alien invasion excuses in the style of Kraxan military communications. It was more convincing than their actual messages. "Perhaps," suggested General Izak, "watching as humans turned their battle tactics into a series of collectible digital cards, we should have considered that any species capable of creating both nuclear weapons and cat memes might be more formidable than we anticipated." Commander Vexthor stared at his command screen, now filled with animated GIFs of Earth creatures called Doge, wearing poorly photoshopped versions of Kraxan battle armor. Their most advanced psychological warfare experts were being outmaneuvered by what humans called shitposting. "Sir," Zixenar approached cautiously, "the humans have started a channel documenting our invasion attempts in the style of nature documentaries. They're calling it Planet Earth, Invasion Edition and, it's getting excellent reviews." The mighty Kraxan Empire, which had conquered civilizations capable of bending time itself, was being defeated by a species that responded to threats of planetary annihilation with LOL and same. The digital war was being lost not to superior technology or military might, but to an enemy that had mastered the art of not taking anything seriously, including their own potential destruction. The United Nations Emergency Council had been transformed into what looked more like a content creation studio. Where military strategists once stood, influencers and comedians now guided Earth's defense strategy. Secretary General Raj Patel watched as the most unlikely resistance force in human history continued to repel the galaxy's most fearsome empire with nothing but creativity and wit. Status report, he called out to the assembled team of what the Kraxan Empire had begun referring to in their intelligence briefings as weapons-grade content creators. Our K-pop allies have released a new single called Alien Oppas, reported Director of Memetic Warfare Jennifer Singh. It's already trending in 47 countries. The dance challenge has completely disrupted 3 Kraxan ground offensives, their troops keep stopping to watch the choreography. The global entertainment industry had mobilized with unprecedented unity. Hollywood writers' rooms had been converted into tactical planning centers, developing plot holes in the Kraxans' invasion strategies. Bollywood choreographers were coordinating flash mobs that confused alien targeting systems with synchronized dance moves. In Japan, a team of anime studios had created a series called My Invasion Can't Be This Cute, which was somehow more accurate in predicting Kraxan tactics than the aliens' own battle computers. The show's merchandising revenue already exceeded the GDP of several small nations. Sir, called out Marcus Rodriguez, head of the newly formed Department of Digital Defense, the Kraxans just tried to deploy their mind control satellites again. But our team of Twitch streamers has turned it into a live event called Invasion Any Percent Speedrun. Their AI can't process why humans are trying to break records for fastest resistance. The aliens' fearsome biological weapons had been rendered practically useless after someone discovered they responded to belly rubs like puppies. The resulting alien monster pet challenge had turned their terror troops into viral sensations, with several specimens now having their own Instagram accounts. Commander Vexthor's increasingly frustrated broadcasts were being auto-tuned into chart-topping hits faster than he could deliver them. His latest threat of planetary annihilation had been turned into a lo-fi beats track for studying and relaxing. Update from the Indian tech sector, announced Dr. Priya Kapoor, leading the IT resistance. We've launched our "Have you tried turning the invasion off and on again?" helpdesk campaign. 3 Kraxan battlecruisers have already submitted support tickets. The resistance had taken forms no military strategist could have predicted. Grandmothers were knitting cozies for captured alien weapons. Food bloggers were posting invasion-inspired recipe videos. Someone had started a successful podcast reviewing the acoustics of different alien warning sirens. Most devastating of all, Jennifer continued, reality TV producers have started a show called Invasion House, where we document the daily failures of the Kraxan forces. Their troops are becoming more concerned about their viewer ratings than their military effectiveness. The Kraxan Empire's fearsome reputation was being dismantled by an endless stream of parodies, memes, and viral trends. Their attempts to maintain an image of terrifying conquerors were consistently undone by humans' ability to find humor in literally anything. "Sir," Marcus interrupted, barely containing his laughter, "you need to see this." A group of classical musicians has organized an orchestra to play sad trombone sounds every time a Kraxan weapon malfunctions. They're calling it Symphony of Fail. Secretary General Patel stood at the window of UN headquarters, watching as yet another Kraxan attack was transformed into what humans were now calling premium content. Their fearsome war machines were being critiqued for their aesthetic design choices. Their battle strategies were being reviewed like movie plots. "Have we heard anything from the Australian resistance?" he asked. "The Australians are." Jennifer checked her tablet, still just telling the aliens that their monsters aren't as scary as the local wildlife. They've started a popular series comparing Kraxan biological weapons to average Australian animals. The space monsters are losing badly. The global resistance had become the most successful multimedia franchise in history. Merchandising, streaming rights, and advertising revenue from invasion-related content had actually improved the world economy. Humanity had not only refused to be conquered, they had monetized the attempt. "Sir," Marcus called out again, "the Kraxans are showing signs of what our psychologists are calling extreme meme fatigue. Their troops are becoming increasingly concerned about appearing in fail compilation videos. The Kraxin War Council had devolved into what humans would recognize as a social media crisis management team. Commander Vexthor, once the most feared conqueror in 3 galaxies, was now primarily concerned with his rapidly declining online approval ratings. "Our latest threat broadcast received mostly negative reactions," reported Lieutenant 6NR, scrolling through Earth's social media feeds. "The comments section is particularly brutal. They're calling our doomsday weapons last season's apocalypse fashion. The mighty Kraxin fleet hung in Earth's orbit, their fearsome weapons rendered practically useless by humanity's ultimate defense mechanism, the ability to turn anything into entertainment. Their attempts at psychological warfare had been transformed into a franchise more profitable than any human entertainment property in history." "My lord," Admiral Krax interrupted, her crystalline form clouded with distress, "we've detected a new form of human resistance. They're making documentary series about our invasion failures. The one called Aliens, It's Not Rocket Science, has won several awards. The situation reached its breaking point when humans launched what they called their ultimate counteroffensive. Instead of weapons, they deployed a globally coordinated entertainment campaign that broke whatever remained of the Kraxin Empire's fearsome reputation." Late-night talk show hosts had started roasting individual Kraxin commanders by name. Stand-up comedians were doing entire specials about the invasion's poor timing and execution. Even weather forecasters had gotten in on the act, delivering reports like, "cloudy with a chance of poorly aimed death rays." "Sir," 6NR reported with growing horror, "they've started a reality show called Invasion Makeover. They're offering to redesign our warships because, according to the host, honey, apocalyptic black is so last millennium." The final blow came when the humans launched their own Galactic broadcast channel. Instead of counter-propaganda, they simply started streaming unedited footage of the Kraxin's invasion attempts, complete with laugh tracks and pop-up commentary. Commander Vexthor watched in despair as their most recent battle strategy was being analyzed by a panel of entertainment critics who rated it derivative and lacking original content. Their fearsome battle cry had been auto-tuned and turned into a children's educational song about the importance of good sportsmanship. "The Council demands answers," Admiral Krax announced to the war room. "How do we conquer a species that responds to threats of annihilation with LOL, same, and turns our biological horrors into marketable plush toys?" The answer came from an unexpected source. A junior psychological warfare officer had been monitoring human broadcasts and discovered something terrifying: they were actually enjoying the invasion. Earth's entertainment industry had never been more united, creative, or profitable. "Sir," the officer reported, "we're not their enemies anymore. We're their content." The revelation hit the Kraxin High Command like a quantum torpedo. They had become supporting characters in humanity's greatest reality show. Their fearsome empire, which had conquered civilizations capable of bending space and time, had been defeated not by superior weapons or technology, but by humanity's unshakable ability to find humor in anything, even their own potential destruction. In a final, desperate attempt to salvage their dignity, Commander Vexthor prepared to deliver one last threat. But before he could begin his broadcast, he received a notification: his parody account had more followers than the official Kraxin Empire channel. "My lord," 6NR said softly, "perhaps it's time to consider a strategic cultural retreat." The mighty invasion fleet, which had arrived expecting to find a primitive civilization ready for conquest, instead began its long journey home. They left behind not a conquered world, but a planet where, Invasion Season 1, had become the most successful multimedia franchise in human history. As the Kraxin ships disappeared into hyperspace, humanity celebrated not with military parades or victory speeches, but with a globally televised blooper reel of the invasion's funniest moments. The United Nations officially classified the entire event as a successful pilot season. Secretary General Patel delivered the final word on humanity's most unusual victory: "To any future would-be invaders watching this broadcast, please note, Earth's defense strategy now includes full merchandising rights and a comprehensive social media campaign. Terms and conditions may apply." The Kraxan Empire never attempted another invasion of Earth. However, their failed conquest became the galaxy's most popular streaming series, and Earth, where empires go to become memes, became a warning sign posted at the edge of human space.